So here's a bit of magic where you really don't have to do much work. The spectator does most of it. I wish they'd do it all the time, most of the time, but here we get them to do the burden of the work. So get them to shuffle the deck. Get them, did I say, get several people to shuffle the deck any way that they like, cut it hundreds of times. And when they're kind of tired, just ask them for the deck. In the end, it does finally come back, and there's one last time when you say, does anybody want to shuffle it any further? They'll go, no, we don't want to shuffle it anymore, get on with it. Then you say, fine. Then you offer them the cards. Take any of these cards from this shuffle deck. Spectator will come up and say, oh, anything really. Perhaps they say this card. Now, I'm not going to look at it, but you look at it and just imagine you're the spectator, showing it to everybody. And they put it back, and you get them to cut the deck so that it's buried there. You're not going to get near the cards now. Ask them to cut it again, send it out there. Somebody else will cut the deck. It goes on a table. It's cut like this. They can cut this as many times as they wish. Eventually, they'll be tired of that, you hope, and it'll come back to you. And then you say, well, let me try and find their card. It must be here somewhere. Actually, you don't say that. You're perhaps very cool, and you'll say a few words, and it'll happen like this. Anyway, I need to look through it, so I'll just prattle away while I look for your card. I think I know your card. And I think, yes, I think your card is in this deck. I'm not quite sure exactly where, but I hope that your card is the 4 of clubs.
Unfortunately, it was the Queen of Spades.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, I'm so tired, I forgot what card I was memorizing. I wonder if the card is the Queen of Spades. You might be wondering why I laugh, but it's relief. That's all it is. How did we do that? 2 things we did, which is we located a card, and secondly, we made the card appear in a surprising way. Well, relatively surprising. Okay, the first thing is, how do we know what card the spectator chooses? The spectator or spectators, of course, can grab the deck and shuffle it as many times as they want. Remember, doing my explanation, or doing the actual demonstration, the performance, I kept offering the deck for them to reshuffle and so on. Eventually, finally, it comes back to me. What they don't realize is that at this stage, I know the bottom card to be the 2 of diamonds. Why would I know that? How would I know it? Well, it's actually quite simple. Each time the cards come back, I held it like this and said, does anybody else want to shuffle it? Now I'm having a great view, let me just show you, of the card. No effort, none of this glancing down here. No, it's up there. Anybody else wants to shuffle the deck? Nobody else? Fine. So I know the bottom card. And when I spread the cards for them to inspect, they will freely choose any card. If you're incredibly lucky, once in a blue moon, they might pick the bottom card. Then you're done. You'll just simply say, the bottom card, which I actually forgot to look at. It's a 2 of diamonds, yes. It's a 2 of diamonds, you'll say to them, which would be surprising for them because they've shuffled the deck. So let's start again. The deck has been shuffled. You've actually glimpsed the bottom card. It's sitting right here. When you spread the deck and they freely choose a card, you don't have to worry about what their card is. You simply close the deck, just ask them to put it on top, and for them to cut the deck. Just cut the deck. And take the deck away to cut again, not shuffle. They must only cut it. So they're going to cut it a few times, and if there are other people, you can offer it to them to cut. Make sure they do a very clean cut, okay, which is to say like a table cut, like this. You can do that on your hand, like this, of course. Whatever happens when the deck comes back to you, you know your bottom card is going to be above their card. I'll explain that in a second, but I'm going to look for the King of Hearts now. So I'm looking through the deck, and if you see what I'm looking at, when I find the King of Hearts, I look to see the card immediately to its right. In this case, the 10 of Hearts is immediately to the right of the King of Hearts. So I know their card is the 10 of Hearts. What I usually do at this stage is I then cut all the cards, including the 10 of Hearts, away, and I make a big thing of putting the remaining cards into the middle of the deck. But really what I've done is I've actually put their card on top. To reiterate what I've just done, I made sure that the spectator's card is placed immediately below my card. If my card is known to me as the bottom card, and they place their card on top. In the act of cutting the deck, my card automatically comes on top of their card. The importance of making sure they only cut the deck is that it will not change the relationship of these two cards to each other. For instance, if they happen to accidentally cut, separating your card from their card, all that happens is that your card is going to be on the bottom, and if it is, you're done. When the deck comes back to you and you see your card on the bottom, you know their card is automatically on top. And I'd suggest at that point you simply go to the revelation move, which I'll show you in a second. But in this case, you'll usually, in most cases, find that their card is somewhere in the middle or wherever. You look for your card, you find their card. Let's say their card is the 10 of hearts. Now remember what I said. Cut away the cards immediately to the left, including your key card, away, and plonk them in a big show into the middle of the deck. And then close the deck. Their card is now on top. That's the first part. The second part is how do you make their card seem to detach itself from the other cards. Sometimes it even reverses itself. Sometimes it actually jumps in the air and spins and lands on top. How you do that is also quite simple. If their card is on top, as my right hand, and I'm right-handed, as my right hand goes to pick up the deck, to drop it, I'm going to drop it on any surface. You can even throw it into your hand. You basically have to drop it face down. As it goes to pick it up, I'm looking at them, I simply with my thumb push that card to one side towards the hand receiving it. So basically I'm going to do this movement. These other fingers are on the side here, and it's going to push, the thumb's going to push that card over the fingers. And the right hand is going to just come up and grab. And you grip it, and you're going to just throw that straight down, flat down. If their card, let's say, was a 10 of hearts, this is what will happen. The card will always detach itself from the remaining cards. The reason for this is that because the card is projecting, and as you're throwing it down, the air rushing up is going to tip that card away, detach it from the other cards, and it'll give it at least one revolution. Sometimes if you're lucky, it ends up bang on top of the deck like that. Sometimes if you're doing it into your hands, you're going to try a few times, you'll notice that it'll automatically go face up into your hand. Needs a bit of practice. It's quite dramatic to actually just drop it in the middle of a table like this. It'll detach itself and go apart.